This is the Cadillac ATS. A lot of excitement inside General Motors because of this car. It won the North American Car of the Year, announced at the Detroit Auto Show. And they targeted this car. When they built it, they said, we want to build a car that can take on the best of the imports. And when you look at the class of vehicle, the size, the car they're really targeting is the BMW 3 Series, long been the benchmark in terms of dynamics, handling, and luxury in that segment, and they sell a ton of 3 Series BMWs. The size is roughly the same. The Cadillac has a shorter wheelbase, but the overall length is a little bit longer. It's almost exactly the same width, and the roofline is just a tad shorter. So the dimensions are very similar to the BMW, and they've targeted the prices pretty much the same as well. They have 4 different trim levels: base, luxury, performance, that's the one we have here, and then premium. All of the vehicles are available with either rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and there's 3 different engines to choose from. We'll get into that in just a moment. This is a nice-looking car. This, as I mentioned, is the performance model. You get a very angular front end. We've come to see that from Cadillac with great-looking LED light treatment on the front. When you come around the side, you'll see on this performance model, the door handles light up as well. It looks fantastic at night. Not so great during the day, but you get the idea. Now, the problem I have with the all-wheel drive version, and that's the car we have here, is the ride height. It's sitting way too high off its wheels. Not so much in the front, but the back, it almost looks like it's jacked up. I recently did a video of the BMW 335 with their xDrive all-wheel drive system, and they've tamed this quite a bit. They've been able to drop the suspension down and make the car look proper. Audi has no problem with this, but that's something that I really think they have to address with this Cadillac. The visuals are really important for a car, and having the car sitting up too high is really not that great. Even though the BMW and this ATS are roughly the same size, the trunk is smaller and the inside dimensions might be bigger in some areas, but they take it away from others. I've got to say right off the bat, I'm pleasantly surprised with the look of this interior on the ATS. I've always been a fan of the CTS. I think it's a great looking interior and it's going to be refreshed with the new model coming soon. The biggest complaint I had with the CTS was the lack of thigh support in the seat, and they've addressed that with the ATS. There's even a little bit of thigh support. You can move it back and forth. Not very much, but it is there. When you look at this interior, it looks modern. The readouts for the heat and the radio controls and everything are actually touch screen, and they have a haptic feedback. So when you push on the panel, you get a little vibration like you would with a video game or your cell phone. So it lets you know that you've actually engaged something. It takes a little bit of a push, and you have to get used to interfacing with this, but once you do, it's pretty simple. I'm not a big fan of this haptic feedback push button style. I prefer the old rotary dials and things, but call me old-fashioned. The screen, though, the Q system from Cadillac, is not available on the base model, but you get it on this performance model, and it is beautiful. Other screens are bigger, the BMW screen is bigger, but the graphics on this really should be used as a standard for many other companies. It is fabulous. Same with the steering wheel, very modern looking, with touch-sensitive buttons to change things throughout the car. Steering wheel is padded with leather. Now, the entry level, the base, and the luxury come with leatherette. If you get this performance or the premium, it comes standard with leather. So that's where you need to shop in terms of pricing. Now, it's interesting that they've targeted this car almost exactly with the BMW in terms of price. Base model BMW starts at $35,000, base model Cadillac starts at $35,000. You want the 2-liter turbocharged engine in the BMW and the Cadillac with all-wheel drive, they're both $46,000. What a surprise. What you get with the Cadillac is more legroom up front, but they shave it from the legroom in the back. The back seat really is small. If you have kids, this isn't the Cadillac to look at. You should probably shop for the bigger CTS. The BMW is spacious in the back seat. This is not. They've taken away from the space back there, and I'm not sure why. People that are 6 feet tall, your hair will be touching in the back seat as well. So overall, the fit and finish in here is just as good as anything else in the marketplace. Soft touch materials abound, even soft touch materials on the center of the lower portion here of the dash. Very well done interior. I like using it. I love the way it looks. And this shows that General Motors and Cadillac specifically can do a world-class interior. We talked about the haptic feedback with the dash and the screen. gives a little vibration when you touch the buttons. There's a vibrator in the seat as well. When you're backing up and you're about to hit the car behind you, a little buzz in the seat. Same thing for rear end collisions. The sensors in the front will tell you to pay attention. You're coming close to a car, a little buzz in the seat. That's actually a nice feature. I like it more than the beep, beep, beep or the flashing light. Tells the driver, makes you alert, and it's a good thing. Now we have to compare this car to the BMW 3 Series because they're marketing it really against that car and also pricing it as well. Now the base 3 Series, the 320i, that comes with a 2-liter turbocharged engine, 181 horsepower. The direct competitor on price is the Cadillac ATS with the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine. This is a brand new direct injection 4-cylinder. It's also found in the Chevy Malibu, a little bit more horsepower in the Cadillac at 202 horsepower. So 20 horsepower roughly more than the BMW. The top of range engine in the BMW is the 335. That's the 3-liter turbocharged with 300 horsepower. In the Cadillac, it's a 3.6-liter V6 with 320 horsepower. More power, about 20 horsepower, again more in the Cadillac. The one engine that we need to focus on today is the 2-liter turbocharged affair that's in this Cadillac performance model. In the BMW 328, it has 241 horsepower. In the Cadillac, 272 horsepower, so a marked difference. So you need to look at these in reference because the Cadillac wins in power in every situation. When it comes to the transmission, the Cadillac has a 6-speed automatic or a 6-speed manual. BMW, 6-speed manual or an 8-speed automatic. So Cadillac's down a couple of cogs there. Now my biggest complaint with this car is that they've followed BMW along the same path of using run flat tires. They're kind of harsh, they're expensive to replace, and they give quite a bit more road noise into the cabin than I would like. So that's something that you really can't do anything about unless you want to buy a little spare tire and put it in the back. But run flats, people who have them on their cars, they really dislike them, and I'm really surprised Cadillac has gone down this road. The one thing though I love about this car, the brakes are fantastic. You get Brembo brakes on this car, you put them down, they're very linear and progressive, they're not grabby, but they're very solid, and that's fantastic. Steering feedback is also excellent, and the platform overall does a fantastic job. Just recently drove the 335 and last year the 328, and I would say that the suspension is a little stiffer in this Cadillac, and you know, it gives a very rewarding drive. All those cars that you have in your mind of Cadillac, they're the floaty boaty, that is gone. This car feels as European, and even more so than many of the European cars that are sold today. Some of the BMWs and the Audis and the Mercedes are getting softer. Cadillac's getting firmer, and you add that in with the firmer seats and you can definitely tell that. Now this engine is what I would call raspy. It's not buzzy. Some 4-cylinder turbocharged engines are quite buzzy. You put your foot into this and it lets out a nice sound, and only under hard acceleration can you hear the engine. And as I mentioned, it's a bit raspy. When you're cruising along, I'm doing 60 kilometers an hour now, you can't even hear the engine. Now there is no question that this is the best Cadillac to date. If you're not crazy about the size of this vehicle, and if you have a family, I wouldn't get it. I would wait for the new Cadillac CTS, which has just been announced recently at the New York Auto Show, to come. Driving dynamics are fabulous. Base motor is good. The turbo is the one most people are going to buy. It's got more power than the BMW, and the 3.6, probably you don't even need to shop that car. Pricing is right in line with BMW, but you get more features. This is an excellent job. The problem Cadillac has, it's the same with anybody that's trying to compete with the luxury premium brands from Germany, is it doesn't have the badge on the front that many people aspire to own. Some older people still love their Cadillacs, but trying to get younger people into an ATS is going to be a struggle for Cadillac. But this car, if you're in the market, definitely should be tried.